An Arizona man tries to start a race war. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, he's being hyperbolic. He's exaggerating. Just every time you talk about something with black and white people, it ain't a race war. No, this man was literally trying to start a race war. A man in Arizona named Marc Adams Prieto. He was arrested in May for planning a mass shooting. He said he wanted to create the conditions where a bunch of people died, right? He believed, in fact, according to an affidavit by FBI agents, or an affidavit by the federal government, uh, he became suspicious and alarming over the course of a year, and he said that he was, quote, advocating for a mass shooting and specifically targeting blacks, Jews, and Muslims. Now, how do they know this? Well, apparently Marc Prieto, had fallen into a relationship with undercover agents. And at the undercover agents sort of notice, the government started paying attention to this guy. Why? Because he was trying to transfer guns. He was trying to transfer weapons to people so that they could have this race war. Now, he was indicted by a federal grand jury today, June 11th, and the charges were firearms trafficking, transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime, and possession of an unregistered firearm. Now, according to the indictment, between January and May of this year, he had discussions with two undercover agents working for the FBI to devise a plan to commit a mass shooting of African Americans and other minorities, again, Jews and Muslims, to incite a race war right before the 2024 presidential election. Now, they didn't say who he was voting for. They didn't say who he wanted to win the presidency, but I'm going to give you a real good guess. Now, of course, he didn't know they were working for the government, so he was sharing all his racist beliefs, and he was talking about all the stuff that all the stuff that he believed. So he says he's going to sell these rifles to people. He sold an AK style rifle in February of 2024 and an AR style rifle in March of 2024, February 25th and March 24th. And they're watching this guy, right? They're watching him moving up and down the highway. They're watching him transfer this stuff. And the plan was to stage a mass killing of black people. And so where does he want to have the shooting? Not in Arizona. Ain't that many Negroes there. He says, let's have the mass shooting in Atlanta. And according to the most recent sources, he wanted to have the shooting at a Bad Bunny concert. Now, this is tragic and this is awful. It's also a little ridiculous. Like, you gonna kill a bunch of black people, like just regular old black people? Atlanta's the place to go. That makes sense to me. But a Bad Bunny concert? I mean, no disrespect to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's a phenom. Bad Bunny is a global international superstar. Bad Bunny is all that. But if you were going to go to Atlanta to kill a bunch of black people, it would seem to me that there's a lot of other black people. You could have went to the SWV Escape Tour. You could have went to wait for Drake to show up. You could have waited for, you know what I'm saying? You could have went to Frankie Beverly and Maze. There's all kinds of black people in all kinds of places. But he said he wanted to go to a rap concert. And this is the problem with white supremacists. They're stupid. You want to kill as many black people in one concert, and the one you chose was Bad Bunny in Atlanta? Whatever. Neither here nor there. He wanted to kill all the people, and he said he was going to leave Confederate flags planted in the ground after the shooting. These people are crazy. But I needed to be clear that they're not singular. These are people who have developed and nurtured racist ideologies throughout life. These are people who have been disaffected, people who have been economically marginalized. These are people who got bad ways to go. And of course, when you have a fascist leader like Donald Trump, and let me be clear, I'm not saying Donald Trump made this man do this. I'm saying people like Donald Trump influence him. The era of Trump influenced him. I don't want Donald Trump suing me right now. He needs to come up. When we enter this space, where economically poor people are exploited across the country. White people, like Du Bois said back in 1930 when he wrote Black Reconstruction, white people tend to close ranks around whiteness, not around their economic vulnerability. So when a whole bunch of poor white people in the South get desperate, they don't say, hey, let's join forces with poor Black people and create economic justice struggle. Let's organize so that we can get a minimum wage. No, they say, these Negroes took the job. These Mexicans took the job. And look, there's a guy who's just like us. And then they look at Donald Trump, who's a freaking alleged billionaire. Not really a billionaire, according to sources, but he's damn close. And he damn sure got more money than them they do. And he says, you know who your problem is? Not me, the billionaire, who's hoarding wealth. No, it's you, Black person. It's you, Mexican. It's you, undocumented. It's you, trans person. And they point all the energy in all these places. So these white disaffected folk get angrier and angrier and angrier. And they start to believe that the world is downhill and their economic fortunes are moving downhill, not because of anything they did and not because the economy is exploiting them, but because of minorities. And so they start doing it. And that's what this guy, Prieto, did. There's the affidavit that says that he told the agents why he chose Atlanta. And he said the reason he chose Atlanta to kill all them people, he said, why is Georgia such a blank state now? It's an expletive. Effed up, I'm sure is the word. Or maybe not, but it's an expletive. Why is Georgia such a blank state now? He said, when I was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country. Why is it not now? Because as the crime got worse in St. Louis and all these other cities, all the niggers moved out of those places and moved to Atlanta. So he said he wanted to cause panic and pandemonium. Those are his words, panic and pandemonium at a concert. And then while the panic and the pandemonium comes, he was just going to shoot everybody. Well, right now, only thing he's going to get shot is bail. He's facing 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine just on the firearms trafficking charge. He's facing another 10 years in prison and $250,000 for the unregistered firearm charge. I warn you, I urge you, do not think of this as an individual crazy racist person. It is, but don't think about it that way. Instead, I'm urging you to think about this case as a sign of the danger in front of us. January 6th was a sign of the danger in front of us. This is a sign of the danger in front of us. Trump is a sign of the danger in front of us. We have work to do. And the work is to organize and fight against this movement. But we can't fight the movement if we don't recognize the movement. Donald Trump didn't create white supremacy or racist. All he did was put some dumbass red hats on them so you could recognize them when they're standing outside. And now that we know who they are and where they are, we got to organize and fight the way they do. Because right now, the red hats are winning. And we can't have that. We definitely can't have that in November.